Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Monday. And first and foremost, as always, just want to send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. Now, I do want to say my apologies. I've been away for the past few days. I've been traveling throughout this weary land, trying to take care of my father, as you all know, who is extremely ill, suffering from dementia. So I had to feed and take care of him and change him and clean him and take care of him. Did that for my mom for Mother's Day so she can get a break, so she can go out of town and visit with her brothers and things like that who she hadn't seen in quite some time. But anyway, with all that being said, it was a lot of NBA action over the weekend and a lot of things for us to talk about. And most notably, it was some good games. I don't know where to begin. We can start with, of course, the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. We know that was a great game. But hold on. I got breaking news. Breaking news. Just in, Nikola Jokic has just won the MVP for 2 seasons in a row. And just because it's breaking news, I haven't had a chance to put this into historical context because I'm not sure how many people have won back-to-back MVPs. I'm sure it's not a very long list of people, but for Jokic to have 2 MVPs, I don't know if it was, I know he had the highest PR or whatever it was for this season, and I get into analytics and I get all of that, but we all saw who was playing the best basketball at the end of the year. And if I was an MVP voter myself, I would have to give it to none other than Giannis, because, and I know it's a regular season award and not a playoff award, but we all see where Jokic is right now and how easily he was handled in the first round against Golden State. Now Golden State is on a hell of a tear. Speaking of which, that's a perfect segue into, let's say, Ja Morant's knee. Let's just hope that that's not a tear. And we all know that Ja Morant posted a video of Jordan Poole grabbing at his knee and then saying he broke the code. And he got that from, of course, Steve Kerr saying that Dylan Brooks broke the code and then, of course, Klay Thompson had something to say after the game saying, Dylan Brooks, we don't swing. That's a dirty play, swinging at somebody's head and all of that, and we don't do that. And of course, he said with Jordan Poole not even strong enough to hurt a knee. What do you guys think? Down in the comments below. Put down in the comments below. Do you think Jordan Poole, what he did, is that what actually injured Ja Morant, or was it on the play before where Klay was coming off the screen and it looks as though they collided knees, and then Ja kind of was a little bit nimble? But I guess what Ja is saying, even though we haven't officially heard from him, I guess what Ja is officially saying is that maybe it could have been hurt right there, but then Jordan Poole aggravated it even more by grabbing at it. Doesn't look to be a basketball play, or maybe Ja is just thinking, well, we can get him suspended the same way they suspended Dylan Brooks. Either way it goes, there is a lot of drama in this series now. To me, it's always been a lot of drama between Memphis and Golden State, even if you go back to the 2015 series that they played, where Memphis was actually up 2-1 before Tony Allen was injured, and eventually they lost that series, and that's the year that Golden State first won the championship, and that was due to injuries. And I tell you what, I don't know if Golden State, not taking anything away from them because they are a great team historically, as we all know, but every year, whether it's been Kawhi Leonard that's been hurt, where they was able to easily get past the Spurs, where it looked like the Spurs were going to come out and do that thug dizzle to them, but he was hurt. And then you had where, of course, the series where Chris Paul, I want to say Houston was up in that series, and Chris Paul was hurt, and he couldn't play in Game 6 or Game 7, of course. And then we know the first finals they won, Kyrie was injured in the first game, and Kevin Love was already hurt. So I don't know what it is with Golden State. I won't call it luck because it's just unfortunate I won't call it luck whenever somebody's injured, because you hate to see somebody injured. But I don't know, their path to the finals and their finals has always been ladled with injuries to the opponent. I will say this though, Golden State, Steph really should have 4 rings and Kevin Durant should have 3, because as we all know, Klay was injured as well as Kevin Durant in the finals against the Toronto Raptors, and we all know what went down with that, because really that was Golden State, I guess, injury payback, so to speak. So I guess it kind of found its way evening itself out. But this is the thing. Within this series for the Memphis Grizzlies against the Golden State Warriors, we all know that the Memphis Grizzlies went, 20-5 in the 25 games without Ja Morant this year. We do all know that. However, those games were not all against the Golden State Warriors, so that is a little bit different. It's going to be a tall task, I think, for Memphis to win this series without Ja Morant. And based on the injury and what it looks like he's going through and the screaming pain that he did, putting the towel over his head and yelling out, it just doesn't look good that he'll even be back for this series. And of course, he doesn't want to risk even further injury. I don't know if it's a meniscal tear or MCL, whatever it is, it doesn't look good. But at the end of the day, Tyus Jones is a very capable backup. But in a series like this, you need a dynamic player like a Ja Morant who can be up, because to me, it looks like the games were going to all be close and go down to the final buzzer, and then you need somebody like Ja Morant. Well, you could say that the last game, of course, was not close, because when Ja Morant went out, I want to say they were down by 15 or 17. But at the end of the day, I just don't feel like any lead in this league is safe. I feel like any lead in this league can get wiped away very quickly. And with it being midway through the third quarter, I don't necessarily think that that lead was safe. But I also will say Golden State was shooting the lights out that particular night and clicking on all cylinders, so it would have been a tall task for Memphis to come back regardless. When you got Jordan Poole clicking the way he was clicking, the way Klay Thompson was shooting the way he was shooting. I mean, for the better part of the game, they were shooting over 70%, and I want to say it was their second highest playoff total of all time. And that's a lot to say, considering that we all know Golden State has had super teams, including that of which Kevin Durant was a member of. So for them to have the second highest scoring total in the playoffs ever only lets me know that Golden State is for real. And a lot of people from the beginning of the season said they were for real and that they would be again in the finals this year, because they have their big three back of Klay, Steph, and Draymond. I was still picking Memphis before Ja went down to win the series, and quite frankly, Memphis could easily be up 2-0. We all know that they lost their first game in a nail-biter that could have gone either way, where Memphis was actually up by 2, I want to say, with under a minute left. But of course, we all know Klay Thompson hit the big three, and the rest was history. And of course, Ja missed the very last layup at the end. They could have put them ahead, and they could have had the 2-0 series lead. But it just doesn't look that way. So, of course, we all know Dallas came back on yesterday and tied up with Phoenix. And we all knew that Dallas would not go out. After the first two games, you was thinking, oh, Dallas might get swept. But, of course, the way that they are playing, especially at home, it just doesn't look that way. But I think when Phoenix gets back home and gets some home cooking, then you're going to be looking at a hungry, desperate Phoenix team. And Chris Paul, I don't think, will continue to play poorly, especially when he gets in the confines of his own arena. So I think that's going to be a good series. That series just might go 7. But I'm going to go and say that Phoenix didn't win the next 2 games and finish them off in 6, because they know what they need to do. They've been the best team in the West all year, and now all they have to do is merely back it up. So we'll see if they back it up or not. One thing that I will say is the game between Milwaukee and Boston, came down to a last-second shot. And I will say Al Horford, I think, scored like 10 or 12 in the fourth quarter. So he was really stepping up in that fourth quarter. However, he just couldn't step up quite enough in order to regulate the way he should have been able to regulate. And, of course, Boston at the end had a lot of chances of tipping in. And I see the controversial, everybody's talking about the three-point shot of Marcus Smart should have been a 3. I don't know. I know every media person there, everybody in the world is saying it should have been a 3. But to me, I just don't know. Only because it's like you got bumped, then you went into your shooting motion. And that's what the NBA has been trying to get rid of for quite some time, is the people unrealistic shooting motions and people just trying to draw contact in the air, which to me, I think is just a little bit too much. So I don't know if I necessarily disagree with the call. At the end of the day, the Celtics missed a lot of shots. They had opportunity after opportunity. They had way more free throw attempts than that of the Milwaukee Bucks. And at the end of the day, I just feel like that this series could go 7 as well. But if Milwaukee can take care of business in the next game and go up 3-1, then we know what it is. So that's going to be a big game on tomorrow night. But tonight we got a big game with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Golden State Warriors that I'm looking forward to. I got a lot more to talk about. I got some things that I need to regulate on. I don't know where the hell I am. I think I done made a wrong turn. So this is not Wrong Turn 2, the movie. But anyway, at the end of the day, man, I just want to say right on to the real. Much love to these haters. And I'm about. Peace.